Hello, everybody. My name is Kato, and welcome to the Cattastic podcast. If you have any topics or questions that you want to ask me, leave it in the comments below, and let's get started. Alright, so the first topic today is going to be on what I got for Christmas this year. So, first of all, I got a new office chair for the computer because the old one was ripping apart and stuff, which is nice, but this gave me so much because it was from my grandparents and they just brought it over and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just picked it up, put it inside. It was heavy too, and it looked like the right shape to be a PC case. I opened it up the next day. It's a chair, so kind of got my hopes up for that, but that's alright. I got a new chair and it's actually pretty comfortable if you sit on it correctly. I'm having a lot more better posture in it. So that's pretty good. Alright, so the next thing that I got is a snowboard, and God, snowboarding was fun. I pointed it out to my aunt in Canadian Tire. It's a Canadian store for all you Americans, but I pointed it out to her saying like this would be a cool thing to have, and I was so confused on what it was. I originally thought it was another guitar, and I would have been like, oh yeah, but it was a snowboard, and later that day we all went sledding together because where I live, you can exercise with people, but you can't socialize. So as long as people are exercising, you'll be all right. But snowboarding was fun. I got at least 3/4 up the hill, full ice. Didn't even actually try to stop or anything. Couldn't move. I literally just tried balancing all the way down. Probably going 50 kilometers an hour. But yeah, snowboarding was pretty fun. We'll talk about that later though. Okay, so I got a new microphone and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. You just have to edit out the audio, so I'm gonna quickly just show you a difference. Alright, so this is my old microphone sound. I know it's terrible. And this is my new microphone sound, and I think it sounds like 100% better, honestly. But aside from that, I'm just gonna carry on, and I got a new guitar amp and a looping pedal. And what sucks about the looping pedal is when I got it in the box, it came with a different cord for it. Didn't even come with the cord, and it didn't work with any of the cords I had. And I had to order a new amp cord to my house. So yeah, now I'm ordering. I had to get a loan and for $5 from my parents because I don't have any money and I had $20. So I just got a cord for it and hopefully that works. If it isn't, I can't turn it back because my mom deleted all of her emails. So she can't return it to Walmart or anything, and that really sucks. But amp sounds really nice. I can't wait to add the looper pedal if it works. That's gonna sound sick. And a funny story, while I was trying to go to get the Amazon gift card because I don't have a credit card, and I had to go get an Amazon gift card. So I checked the local 7-Eleven, which was probably a block from my house, and it wasn't there. They had every gift card stacked, full on, but Amazon. So we drove to Walmart. They didn't have any. So I'm like, I know No Frills has like some. So I walk into there and I'm like, okay, good, I see one. It was the last $25 one that I could get. And oh god, it was terrifying. Just almost about to get it. Like if someone else would have taken that, I would have never been able to use my looper pedal till it comes back. As I was in line to buy it, the cashier didn't even ask me if it was cash or debit, and she's like, oh, we have no cash in the till, what am I gonna do? Because she already scanned it and put the money on the card. And I'm like, just sitting there, and she asked the guy behind me, who is a bald man, old man, and oh, this is gonna get awkward, but he was behind me and she asked him, are you paying with cash or credit? And he said, where would I pay with cash? And started bursting out laughing, like really loud. Then, like 2 minutes later, as the cashier was getting her manager out, like said it to himself again and started laughing again. And then the manager came over and did all the things and asked the guy behind me, "Are you paying with cash?" And he responded with the same joke as I was leaving. "Or would I pay with cash?" And just started laughing really loud. I've never wanted to just leave a supermarket that quickly. If I were the coworker there, I'd be so just awkward. It would have been terrible. But I got the Amazon gift card and got a new cord that's coming in and a pop filter. Not a pop filter, one of those round foam things that you slide on top of your microphone. I have a pop filter already and I'll be using it soon. It just has a hole in it and I gotta get that fixed. Alright, I'm gonna get on to the snowboarding topic. So, this is at like my local like sledding hill. I don't know what to call it. It's just like wet at the bottom, but it freezes here so it doesn't get wet. But I was just there with my snowboard and my sled, and I was like, I just want to snowboard. So I got on my snowboard and had to get my grandpa to help me go down. Like we started like at the barely tiniest part, and then went down even more, and then more, and then more. Eventually, everyone had to go except us. So I tried it one more time as everyone was getting packed up, and I got like at least a quarter up the hill, and then just went fully down. It took like 5 seconds for me to just get like all the way down. I was moving pretty quick. If I fell, it would have hurt. But that was pretty fun. Then I went sledding with my uh other side of the family, my dad's side, and we had fun there. My sister got drenched. Yeah, my sister like we were playing hide and seek in the like field that was in the middle of it because it was like a slough sort of thing, so it had a bunch of wild glizzies at the bottom of it. So like we would play hide and seek. We'd put our sleds in like this tiny little open area, and one person would like it'd be like man tracker. If you got caught, you'd have to help. But cool thing about it is it's covered in snow, like on the bottom, so you're gonna get your feet wet if you don't have like winter boots on. But me and my cousin Leland, I'm just gonna say his name, screw it, and him and I just go to a spot and just jump in the middle, because daff or whatever, wild glizzies, they don't hurt, so you can just jump on them and it'll feel soft. So we just literally like full on like leap of faith onto them and just made no noise. And like 5-10 minutes later, my sister says, "Help! Help!" And I was like, this is obviously a trick, so I got up and like I was starting to run, and she chased after me because I knew it was a trick. My cousin didn't get found yet, but she just said, "Ah!" She like started screaming, and we had to go help her because she fell through the ice because she tried getting around a tiny puddle, but when there's a tiny puddle, there's thin ice around it, so that didn't go good. Yeah, that's pretty much sledding. My dad feels really sore right now, and he has to take like the week off because he's so sore. I think he just sprained a muscle. He went to the hospital because he couldn't move his like thumb. But yeah, that's pretty bad if you like hurting that bad. Wow. Alright, so someone asked me a question. Will the podcast come to Spotify? I'm planning on to in the future. I'm gonna see like if I can get an RSS link or feed, yeah. Gonna probably use SoundCloud to do it if I find a way how. But yeah, podcast should be coming to Spotify if I really need it to. Okay, someone else wants to know what type of music are you into? I'm into like anything with like a really good beat. I like Deathbed just for its like music. I'd listen to it without the like lyrics to it. So it's just the beat. I don't want to get copyright striked, so I'm not gonna sing it or yeah. But it has a nice beat, so I like any music with a good beat, except country. I hate country. Alright, so I'm gonna segue on to my next topic, which is titled Dreams. And I have a lot of dreams, like everyone, but there's some that just distinctly I remember. Alright, so I'm gonna get through nightmares first. So there's this one nightmare that happens every year for me. It happens usually in like the middle of summer. It'll be my grandma has moved to a new house and we're going over there for Easter dinner. And we all get sent to the basement to eat. This isn't normal, by the way. This is like a completely different house. The layout of the house is there'd be stairs on the right side, a bathroom, and like a living area. So just a simple like basement, no rooms down there to hide in. But you can't do anything in this dream, so it's always just the same. You walk down the stairs with everybody else, a light turns out, well, you go to the washroom, or I went to the washroom, I had to lock the door and hide in the cupboard because I heard screaming. So I just hide, and then just silence completely, and then I'd get jump scared and wake up. Yeah, that nightmare wasn't that fun. I had another nightmare where it happened once, but it was with my cousin Leland in the dream. It was with Bendy. This is when Bendy was recently new. We were at his house at a sleepover, and we were just walking by, and then we went to the Stampede grounds, which is like completely across town from where he lives. But it's just completely across town. We just walk there getting chased by Bendy. And we had to like run home and try to wake up someone, but no one believed us, and we got really in trouble. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to the camping thing, because we talked about dreams. So camping with my cousins, Leland, Michelle, all of them, we literally, whoever was in the tent with me, because I brought a dream book to just read, and I'd like ask them about their dreams and look for it, and Leland said, I had a dream where I was just a hot dog laying there. I wish I could be a hot dog. That was really weird. My cousin Michelle had a dream where she like had like a zombie apocalypse, and it was a pretty cool dream to think about. Just living in a zombie apocalypse world would be fun, and it may come in 2021. I don't know. Alright, so another topic now is going to be with my biological father, who is not my father at this time. I do not think of him as my father. I just dislike him. So, the first memory that I have of just with him is when he left when I was 3. I was so confused on what was going on. I walked over to my mom and started hugging her because it was like, it's okay, because I had no clue what was going on. But just him walking up the door, that's it. And the first time I got to meet him was when I was living in an apartment building, and my mom said, "How would you guys like to go to spend like the week at Chris's?" Because this was in summer too, so we didn't have school. We went over to visit, and he was so like late because he lived in Edmonton or whatever, a place right beside it, and it was like a long hour drive because he took the long way there. It wasn't quite Edmonton, I forget. Or it's just no. Oh, it was a little farther away from Edmonton, and it took till from like 6:30 to 2 o'clock in the morning to drive there. And I was thinking like, God, this car couldn't go any longer. My sister and there was this kid named Bryce, and I hated him. Like, he was fine at the time, but after I tell the story, he was not that fine. I guess we actually didn't see him out of town before. Well, okay, he had a girlfriend named Kayla. Us 2 kids were in the back. He talked to Kayla. Bryce and Sydney were asleep, so I was awake. I can never sleep in any place that's not my bed. That's still true to this day. So we eventually got there. I had to carry my sister up the stairs. She was completely asleep. We put her on the couch, and Chris asked me if I was hungry, and I'm like, no, we ate before we came here. I should be fine. And I went to bed. That's just it. Woke up the next morning, just got up before everyone else, just sat on the couch reading a book, and I was like, alright, this day can't get any worse. And he lived in an apartment building. And this was a pretty big apartment building. He had a TV, a couch, like a full on like dining table area. It was huge. Really huge. I forget like where it was. It was an apartment building. It was a very fancy one. But it was big, and I had to sleep in Bryce's room with the bunk bed on top. I had to be on top of the bunk bed, so it was pretty uncomfortable. But the next morning, I'm like, alright, what can I do? So I just sat on the couch reading the only thing that I brought, which was like a little like booklet. I forget, they had like little adventure games in them. But I just read that till Chris was up, and he's like, how long have you been up for? And I'm like, since 5:30. At the time, this was like 8. So I just made some waffles after that because I had his permission, and played PS3 Lego Star Wars, and I beat the game in a day, and I don't even know how. Because we didn't do anything that day, we just sat there. Because Chris had to go shopping because he wasn't ready to feed our mouths yet. 2 extra mouths. And just went on and played PS3. Didn't let anyone else touch it. Bryce had his, like, what, iPhone 3G, I believe? I forget. But he was spoiled. We had chili for supper that day, and it was pretty good. That's, like, the only time I remember having chili. Like, the first time, I believe, I had chili. But the next day, woke up, just grabbed some Eggo waffles, put them in the toaster, just ate them plain, because it tastes so much better plain with syrup, and I didn't know where anything was, so I went. And this day, I'm like, alright, so I'll just sit at the table and eat again. This was like later in the morning, so it was probably like 10. I was like the last up, and Bryce had to take his penicillin medication, and I have an allergic reaction to penicillin. It's literally just a rash that happens. But like Chris told me to just get out of like the apartment, and I'm like, what? Like, he sent me out of the apartment to wait for like 10 minutes while I like cleaned everything so I didn't get a rash. I didn't think he knew that just penicillin just gave me like a rash and like clogged up my throat a lot. But yeah, it kind of sucked because it was boring. Then we all got ready and went to the dollar store to get some toys for Bryce and us to play with. And I couldn't find anything there other than a Nerf gun, so I'm just like, sure, I'll get this like cheap Nerf gun sort of thing. And you know those dollar store Nerf guns, you know, the ones that made are fully plastic. The darts are plastic with a little tip and the 3, like, it's like a tripod sort of shape. And you just load it, front load it, cock back, and just bang. It's not even that loud. It's just terrible gun. I just bought it, and yeah, that happened, and got like a bag of chips with it, which I like chips a little bit. Then we go uptown to a Best Buy, and Chris is like, hey, Andrew, why don't you get you and your sister a 2DS to play with? So I picked a red one out, got some games for it too, and just Kayla steps in, buys it, and I'm like, oh, this is, I may come visit more. This is really nice. I'm quite enjoying this. And then Bryce ended up taking it and playing with it, and I'm like, alright, that seems fair, as long as he shares with my sister. We all got just sent to bed, ate supper, all that stuff, and just went to bed, and I could hear them just yelling at each other, and I'm like, just shut up, I'm trying to sleep. I didn't get to sleep that night. Next morning rolls around, and we're just all like up, ready to go. So we leave and have like a fun time at like this. What was it? Oh, Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, we went to Chuck E. Cheese that day, and I was having a blast. I think this is what got me into COD Zombies or Black Ops 2 Zombies. Because there was this game there, and I had like 50 to like 20 tokens. And all I used it on was this zombie game where you had to like aim it and your gun turned. It was on like a ship. Hold on, I'm gonna find that. Okay, so I found the name of it. It's Zombie Pirates. No, what? Hold on. Okay, so I'm loading up the tab of Google right now. Death Storm Pirates. That was the game. I remember it. It was so fun. I spent all my money on it, just single player, and just played it. We ate Chuck E. Cheese pizza. It was really not good. I don't like pizza that much. Because I'm lactose intolerant, didn't know back then, but yeah, just sat on the toilet, wasted all my tickets on like a little stamp, and played on the play place with my sister because she spent all of her tokens on random games that she wanted to play. But yeah, Chuck E. Cheese was pretty fun. Got home, played like a Mario game on the 2DS, and went to bed. I knew we had to get up tomorrow, so I already packed my bags. And yeah, so I just packed my bags, went to bed, woke up the next morning, got ready and stuff, and I hate Bryce for this reason. As we're going, I'm like, okay, let me just get my DS games for the car ride, make sure it's charged. Bryce says, no, that's my 2DS. And I'm like, no, your 2DS is on your bed with all of your games. Trust me, this is the 2DS I picked out. Your 2DS has the stickers on it, and gets Kayla, which was his mom, and oh, she made us like rock paper scissors to see who kept it, and I won by like two because it was like best of three, and he won once, and I won two other times. And Kayla's like, "Well, I'm sure you could let him have it. You guys are gonna visit again, right?" I'm like, "All right, yes." So he keeps it. We just go home with Chris, get dropped off, and I didn't want to go there again. I guess that was kind of the last time we saw him. Not really the first time, but I'll talk about the first time right now. So, first time we went to his house, he wasn't with Kayla or anybody. It was in our old house, not the apartment building after, but where we would all live, where I was like 3. So, I'll give you exact layout of the house because I remember it vividly. Alright, so you walk into the porch, take a right. You have the kitchen on your right. Take a right, now take a left. Okay, porch is at the front of the house from the street. It's like one of those normal looking houses. But yeah, it has a kitchen, living room right beside each other. You walk up the hall, it has bathroom, and then my sister's old room. This is before we lived in there. Then you'd have the bunk bedroom and the, what was it? Parent room. So Bryce was here too. I was friends with Bryce at this time. We were little, and I got to sleep in my sister's room. Since I was oldest there, I was like older than Bryce by like 3 months. And I was oldest, so I got my own room, and I was like sick. And just so many memories out of that house because we were living in like the apartment building at this time with my mom. So I'm like, God, it's been a long time since I've been here, and we stayed there for a week. I remember losing my first tooth, and yeah, it was pretty awesome there. Got like 20 bucks from it. Because, yeah, we're not spoiled us, but didn't pay child support. Woohoo! Yeah, same thing worked out. Just woke up, sat on the couch, just sat there for a couple of days. It felt like days, but everyone else was up. We ate, went out, and just went to Edmonton and went to Galaxyland that day and just had a bunch of fun. I went on the baby rides because I wasn't tall enough for anything else. We went home and just fell asleep. I had a pretty good time. To stay up later than everyone else. And Bryce said it was unfair, so I had to go to bed. which really sucked. And I just remember everything my dad bought. Now, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense why she hates him now. He just stole everything from her. Yeah, that trip and stuff was just very pointless, not fun at all. There was this other time that I remember he was still in the town that I live, and just he would be with Kayla all the time, and I remember that's the first time I listened to Whooped 'em Gangnam Style, which, if you haven't heard, don't. It's really old, and how old is that song? Hold on. So it came out in 2012, so I must have been little when this came out, but that's the first time I listened to it, and I'm like, what is this song? It is so annoying. That house smelled terrible. I'm pretty sure it was like a pot house or something. Like the worst smell of my life. And I can just remember it just by smelling it. Can't describe it. Just terrible smell. And I remember this other time. There's only one time I remember after this, and it was when they went to at least like 100 different houses to like just live, but they were in a different house this time, and I'm like, all right, fourth time they've moved, and this house was like 3 stories up. I remember walking in, he had a bunch of like little toys. There was like no toys there, and yeah, so it really, really sucked. But yeah, right, the next time I remember with him, probably like the last time, was when we went to a cabin, and this was probably like my favorite memory because we just mess around all day, every day. So it was like in this cabin. I don't even remember where we slept. Pretty sure I just slept out in the stars. But they had a fire out, a bunch of hot dogs, and like so many hot dogs out, you can't even remember. But I believe it was with Bryce's cousins, and he like we'd all like have to like get our own water bottle, and I savored my water because if we ran out, fill it by the tiny little river, like at least like the size of a mouse, like your standard mouse, like not on its side, like fully up down. That was the size of the river that we had to fill our water bottles on. The water was green, so we could all be dying faster than everyone else, but who knows? But I remember just cooking hot dogs, going up to the top of this tiny like hill. And I know when you're like a kid, everything seems so different. This hill is probably like your standard like sized hill, probably just a tiny bit taller. But just the fact of how little I was, I guess I thought it was like a mountain because it looked pretty huge. But I remember going on like this pink bike because that was the only one that I had, just going down really fast and just biking away. I got lost and they had to find me, but that was pretty fun. Yeah. Landed in a bush, didn't know where I was. I was like, okay. I guess it was a pretty big hill then. There was no big brakes on the bikes, so I almost fell into the fire one time where I was going down the hill, and this bike that I was on, it was a blue one, blue and red, like with fire. It was like one of those Hot Wheel bikes with like when you twist the handle back, it like roars and has like that little like speedometer thing. I don't know. But those were the bomb back in the day. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I almost fell into fire, ate a lot of hot dogs, slept outside without a blanket and just a tiny sleeping bag. Yeah, it was really fun. It was not really fun talking to him now. He tried contacting me this year, and I just immediately blocked him and told him to just don't, please. You ruined my life. Oh yeah.